So I'm Bree Matturro. I am the manager of the content marketing team. Today, I wanted to share the content marketing team's updated content strategy. This includes our plans for SEO and net new content, which is also explained in the handbook update that I'll share now. So I'm just going to share my screen to the updates in the handbook. So we have a huge opportunity to improve where we land in search results. And our goal is to enhance our page values in order to push our way to the top of that page, especially for specific topics like version control, CI, and DevSecOps. This hasn't been our primary area of focus up until recently, so we have plenty of room for growth. The goal of the content marketing team is to drive inbound and organic traffic with SEO by optimizing web pages using keyword clusters, gap analysis research, target keyword updates, and aligning with reader intent. Our team provides readers with end-to-end content experiences in order to garner trust, create source credibility, and generate customer engagement. One of the ways that we're doing this is by first identifying who our audience is. Excuse me, I'm having trouble there. So the content team is specifically addressing the developer audience and those who are committed to learning more about a particular software workflow, application, standard, or methodology. Our content is created to be a trusted source for somebody like Sasha, the software developer, who's looking to advance their career by learning new skills or about a new tool. The content marketer's goal is to steer the readers through the buyer's journey, capture them with organic traffic through awareness level content, and then engage readers by providing links to solutions-based knowledge. The content team relies heavily on user personas and use cases, which are linked here, and they're developed by the product marketing team in order to understand who our readers are and how best to support them in their software development journey. Personas, along with the SEO research, help us to navigate content strategies.
Do you want to talk a little bit about our decision to target like the developer persona over other personas at this point?
The developer persona is somebody who probably has, I think within the, even within our DevOps survey that we did last year, there are a lot of developers who are within like 5 years from graduating. They're trying to learn a new tool. They're specifically working on something and they want to expand their career path. And the developer in this particular environment is somebody that we can speak to because we know a lot about developer career paths and journeys and topics like CI, pipelines, open source, version control. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think one thing I would just add is that through the cohort research that the demand gen team has been doing, they found that developers are huge influencers on the decision to buy a tool. And when we're thinking about this education awareness content, where it's not really education about GitLab, but it's education about tools, topics, workflows, methodologies. The people who are most likely to be searching for this are a developer and possibly a new manager who's like trying to implement something and they're refreshing. But just in case anybody watching this is wondering like, why'd they choose the developer persona and not the CTO or someone like that? As these like end-to-end journeys that the marketing and growth teams are working on together come together, we're seeing more and more, or understanding more and more where those higher level personas come in the journey, and probably are people searching for how do I content.
That's true of a majority of the case studies that I've written too within the past year. I think I would say close to 90% of the people who have pushed for the adoption of GitLab have been individual developers who had come from a company that was already using GitLab or used it personally and started using it within the company. And then the team recognized what the what the capabilities were, and it slowly began to grow, and then it became a top-down decision. So it kind of goes along with that too. Shall I keep going? Okay. So our content creation strategy, we use content pillars and topic clusters to organize and plan our work. Pillars are defined within epics on a quarterly basis, and work is broken out into milestone and issues. The content team aligns to themes to ensure we're executing strategically and meeting business goals. Pillars allow us to narrow in on a specific topic and audience, while topic clusters help to inform us of what search terms people are actually looking for within that subject. Each content marketer focuses on a specific part of the software development lifecycle and then creates content clusters to support the topic. So what is a topic cluster? Here's a visual too, but I'll just go quickly through the definition. Topic clusters are pieces of content that share a common subject or subtopic and are used to enhance organic search engine results. A topic cluster begins with a pillar page consisting of the prominent subject matter. The content team, along with detailed input from inbound marketing, works to design insightful topic clusters. Our topics pages are acting as pillar pages, and our web articles, which are also called cluster pages, will support and enhance the topics pages using keyword placement, search volume research, and semantic and secondary keyword. We have a few clusters listed below, but just to go over this visual, when somebody is searching for version control, this just shows they could either be searching for version control or they could be very specific. So this is kind of all of what people are looking for, from broad version control all the way down to which is better, Git or SVN. So this kind of gives us an idea of what people are searching for and how we can answer these questions or best help guide our audience into finding results. So here is our existing topic cluster so far. We have version control and collaboration, continuous integration, and DevSecOps. So I'll just share with you version control and collaboration and what it looks like in our Google Sheet. This is what our topic cluster looks like for version control specifically. Each topic cluster looks similar to this. So the primary keyword here is version control, obviously, and how this has worked so far is that Suri has come up with a list of article names and then decided on the primary keyword within those article names. And with the help of Niall, he's inputted search volume, secondary keywords, and we've decided whether this would be awareness level content or consideration level content, what the intent is. These are all cluster pages. The what is version control topics page is the pillar page for this. The other thing that's interesting and helpful with using Niall is that if we've come up with an article name specifically with primary keywords and there's no search volume for that, he can turn around and say, come back with another primary keyword. On the second tab is the existing content that we have for version control right now and also for collaboration. So anytime a new piece of content will go live, we'll add this in here so that we have a single source of truth for our version control asset.
Is this all content or web content specifically?
It's our about GitLab content.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just our stuff, not anything further. On the left-hand side here are links to version control and collaboration, source code management, and DevOps keyword files. So it's all the keywords and their search volume. So it gives you an idea of like what are the popular search terms for specifically version control. Down below are external gap research. So it's kind of our competitor pages and what their keywords are. And then further down are primary target terms that we use, and then semantic related terms that can help sort of push further in our content clusters. So we can either create another piece of content using this as our primary keyword or use this within a web cluster and ensure that you know, it will get picked up by Google because it is a target word.
So the related semantic keywords, one of the uses for this, would these be terms that Suri is like prioritizing when she's writing on a primary keyword, or are these like totally separate pages?
So it's twofold. It could be totally separate pages if there is enough search for that specific term. But as of right now, they're acting as secondary keywords to enhance a web cluster. So like, what is Git? We would go through these terms and see like what would make sense to explain what is Git using these search terms. The other page here are, these are all the work in progress web articles that we have so far. So she's written 3 with the goal of publishing them soon. But the web article template looks, and I'm probably going to get locked out of this too, but this is basically what everybody is using when they're creating a web article. So you can basically copy and paste your primary target keyword, your secondary keyword, your semantic keywords. So it's helped me as an editor to read through her page title, her headers, the whole body, and then see if there actually are secondary keywords used in there and semantic keywords. And then if there aren't, we can go through and see what would make sense. Like, how can we change this a little bit more so that there is more SEO infused research within this one document. It also is helpful if we do have to hand this over to somebody else so that they can just copy and paste it when publishing the web article. This also, I'll just share quickly, is what the epic looks like for each of the content marketers. So for instance, version control and collaboration, Suri has defined who her persona is, the use case, the theme that she's running with over Q3 and probably Q4 at this point. And then a list of SEO research, the content audits specifically that was done in Path Factory and over our site. And then the content plan, which includes ebooks, web articles, 3 blogs, and updating the existing topics page. Do you have any questions about that?
No, this looks great. And
Okay.
then, I mean, the one thing I guess I'll add, and this will come in a follow-up video, is just the Path Factory track, and something we're working on right now in preparation for Q4 is expanding the content cluster. So we're working on like, what does the awareness journey look like? You know, where are people coming from to these pages? What do we want them to do once they land on these pages? And then we're going to be doing full audits of the Path Factory track so that we can put a Path Factory track on a topic page that just has like 4 really specific assets to it that are geared toward helping that user get to the next stage. So the consideration stage, visiting the solutions page, understanding how GitLab starts to play into it. But everything that we just saw, that you just shared, all came together in Q3, which I think is amazing. It's huge progress.
Yeah, I think that just needs to keep going. And I think that these were the 3 topics that we're focusing on right now. And I think moving forward, we can kind of expand and really dive deeper into other topics and enhance the pages that exist and create web articles for them so that we can capture more of the traffic that's out there. Just to go over kind of the rest of the updates on this page, what's in a content set. A content set is the collection of work that's created each quarter. It covers the stages of the buyer's journey. The content marketers are responsible for awareness level and some consideration level, and the product marketers cover the purchase and some consideration content. So here's just a little example of what's in the content set, and it's broken down by content type, DRI, and stage.
You're actually showing us the epic still, so if you're...
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Let me stop share and then reshare. now. Do you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the content set, and this is the framework for the content set. I added a meet the content marketing team just because that wasn't there before, and I feel like it's helpful to understand who is working on what focus area. So if you have a question specifically about version control, you could ping, sorry. Planning timeline, that's been here for a while. I think we updated a little bit. Gated asset workflow, I think that will be updating soon. And then content types, blog posts. We follow the same rules as everybody else. We pitch the blog post to the editorial team, and we work through the same process, which is listed here. Generally, I think each of the content marketers has published at least 1 to 2 a month, and I think that that will continue moving forward. White paper is more technical and focused piece of content, and we work closely with the product marketing team when researching and writing the asset so that the content reaches an appropriate technical standard and the intended audience. And here are a couple of examples listed in here. There's also the timelines and deliveries. I updated the ebook section here to include that the ebooks now have beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels designated to each of the new and upcoming ebooks. It's just so that I think it's even within the design copy so that we know moving forward, like if this is a beginner, very awareness level piece of content and how we can then strategize and organize it on the site and where it should be moving forward. Ebooks typically provide awareness level content, but they can also dive deeper into late stage consumption. The content team works closely with product marketing for more technical and instructive ebooks. Here are a couple examples with the timeline and deliverables.
I think I just want to pause on the ebooks really quick because I love the direction this is heading in. Like generally everything is just getting more standardized, but in the past, like we just kind of brainstorm some ideas for ebooks and went with it. Whereas, especially with the push to ungate more content, we're getting a lot more intentional about what we would put into an ebook. I mean, you don't have to gate an ebook, but there's still large assets and organizing them around the topics and then that level, we start to provide, I just think a broader, like, or more depth for our readers of like, we can literally take you from start to finish with if you start with a beginner, you move on to advanced expert or whatever it is. And I just see that as a really great evolution of the strategy in order to really build the trust piece that's so important of what we're doing at the awareness level.
Right. I also think that it will help with organizing our buyer's journey and knowing, because I think that you can see an ebook and be like, great, that sounds like it's an advanced book, when really it's a very awareness level ebook, and we don't want to misrepresent what we're offering our readers, especially if they've gone through and put in their email address and everything that goes along with gating a piece of content. So I think that this helps identify and makes it easier for readers. Just moving down, the infographics are illustrated overviews of a topic or process. Here's the Git cheat sheet that's listed here. I think the sales team is currently using this. It's a lot of information in an infographic. And I think that there are a lot of people involved in creating an infographic in terms of the information and how it's pulled and where it's coming from, because it's super informative. And so here's an example of the Git cheat sheet. Further down, we have topics pages, which we've talked about, but they're high-level pillar pages dedicated to a specific topic. I've linked to a couple in here. They should explain what the subject is, why it's important, and the basic concepts of that subject. And then they should also include links to additional related resources like blogs, web articles, videos, case studies, and a CTA to a gated asset. Web articles or content cluster pages are educational, informational content designed to support the topics pages with keywords and search terms. They're similar to blogs, but they differ in that they're not dated and the content is evergreen. They should be linked to one or more topics pages and should serve as a deep dive into a specific subtopic. They're created with SEO research and campaign goals, and they're completed with this SEO web article template that I linked to earlier on, but it's a super helpful template just to ensure that like everything that we need is going into this piece of content. And then finally, case studies. They're in-depth customer stories that provide insight as to how GitLab has resolved significant software workflow problems for a company. Case studies tell the story using quotes from customer interviews and straightforward metrics that broadly show the impact of adopting GitLab. They're created in partnership with a customer reference team, and they have a process in place for how they add new references and provide a list of customer value drivers on their site, on their handbook page. The content team is specifically responsible for writing the asset, using a template, publishing the case study to the website, adding the customer logo to the customer logo grid page, and then ensuring that that page, that case study goes through the proper social media and newsletter steps. And I've added newer case studies that were recently written in here as an example. And that's kind of all the updates for the handbook page so far. And I will stop sharing my screen.
That's great. I think that covers it. I don't have any more questions. I think all the updates and the progress that's been made so far is great. We'll definitely do a follow-up video soon, kind of illustrating the whole journey. And a little preview of what we're thinking in Q4 is starting to bring more of the content, the overall content team into this strategy. So like working with Erica Flowers to create a set of videos for the use case, from like working with technical marketing on a long demo, shorter demos, things we can use on social, etc. So I'm really excited because I feel like everything is really congealing around this strategy and it feels like the right thing to be doing. So
right. I think that we're moving in the right direction. I think that we have a lot of opportunity to sort of like create really good content. And yeah, so moving forward, I think we can add to that with other elements too. And you can ignore my dog that's barking in the background. Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.